Show money where your mouth is, pushing where the crowd is. Baby, put your hands up, we didn't set a line to see us in the papers, we don't look like comments.
Hello my lovelies, I'm a little bit overdue with my wrap up for the media that I have watched and listened to recently, so I thought I'd hop on here and do a little bit of a TV wrap up for April, May and June. And I say listen because I want to talk about a podcast, and I have mentioned them a few times before on this channel, but this is the Magnus Archives, and in particular it was season 3, and I gave this one a 3 stars. This is like a podcast, like a horror fantasy podcast, where we are following the archivist who is reading to you accounts of the supernatural. And there's this overarching story that they're after a particular like villain, and they're hoping to get some clues as to where they might be, what their plans are, what's going to happen next through these tapes as well. So it's kind of like a secret service establishment, I guess, for all the weird and wonderful. This was super creepy, super eerie, as it usually is. I definitely did miss some of the connection, but it's always such a great production. I do think in terms of the amount of seasons there are, it is going on for a little bit too long, so you do end up losing yourself along the way a little bit, because I'm sure the story has progressed linearly from season 1, but I couldn't really tell you like how we got to this bit, if that makes sense. It does have like random tangents where it's following different little stories and little standalone things, but when we do get back on track to the main story, it's great. In saying that, I do listen to it at night time, so I'm probably like sleeping whilst the last couple of minutes are going, but it is perfect for bedtime listening if you don't mind the scares. After that, I found a fantastic short little series called Dinotopia, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. It was so much fun. It's set in a parallel world where dinosaurs didn't go extinct and in fact live in harmony with humans. So after a traumatic plane crash that leaves half brothers Carl and David Scott having to leave their dad for dead, they stumble into this strange paradise of Dinotopia, but not all is as it seems. Progress is halted, and a man by the name of Krabs takes a keen interest in Carl's more radical views. The acting was god awful, but boy did I enjoy this show. It did feel like it jumped and skipped bits. I'm not sure if that was the case, as I watched it on YouTube, so I don't know if in its original run, whatever channel it was on, it felt more linear. But yeah, some things just didn't feel very seamless, but it was very good fun. You've got the guy from Prison Break, I think he's in Supernatural as well. I've yet to watch Supernatural. You've got, what's the guy's name? Is it Professor Lupin from Harry Potter? There's quite a few actors in there like having not necessarily their debuts, but the early ages of their acting, and you can tell. But it was so much fun. Definitely give that a watch if it's still available on YouTube. I then finished One Piece, which I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved this season. It started off so strongly and I was hooked from the start. I loved the second episode with the whale called Lagoon. Oh my god, bless his massive heart. I was so emotional doing that. And then meeting Chopper, learning about the drama that is the Baroque works and the lore of the land of Alabasta and its missing princess Vivi. It was emotional, action-packed, full of that found family aspect that I just eat up, and I feel like One Piece, the live action, does really well. I mean, I say it's kind of making me consider trying the anime out, but also not, because it's such a long running anime and I just don't have that sort of commitment in me when it comes to like TV shows, books. Like, I love a long book series, but it's gonna take me like 20 years to finish it, to be quite frank. So we're moving on to May now, and I started off with a little bit of reality TV, that being Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 3, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. My gosh, the only thing I've got to say for this is that the way they bring up trauma so simply and then disregard each other in the next breath is just too much for me. How can you be like consoling someone and sharing similarities within your trauma one minute, and the next minute you're screaming down like in their face like, you said this about my business, yada yada yada. It's crazy to me. Moving swiftly on, I finally finished What If season 3, which I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. It was off to a cringy start with the Hulk episode, but oh my gosh, that 2-part ending in particular was absolutely phenomenal. Yes, I did ugly cry. I was so moved by it, sort of navigating more into Uwatu's personal story and how like the kind of takeaway is everybody is someone and will have someone watching over them. I just think those last 2 episodes, despite me taking so long to get to them, alone has made this a 5-star. I thought it was so fantastic. So after that, I watched back on my little Star Wars franchise, and I did the Star Wars Clone Wars 2D micro series, which I gave a 3.5 out of 5 stars. This was such a fun series that added extra detail to Skywalker's descent to power-hungry madness. The style was reminiscent of Samurai Jack for me. It was informative, and I liked that it was mostly action and music over like talking, if that makes sense. It still told the story well enough and I could happily follow along to what was happening. And then lastly, in June, I watched Michael Jackson The Verdict, which I gave a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Another documentary about the allegations that Michael Jackson has been faced with, interestingly put together, more focus on the court hearing side of things, which was interesting. But yeah, that wraps up the TV shows that I've been watching recently. Some random ones, lots of a mixture going on here. I will follow up with a movie wrap up some point soon. See you guys later. Bye.